Discover humanity now. A chain reaction of hope. Picture a bustling city street. Cars honk, street vendors call out their wares, and pedestrians weave through the crowd like fish in a rushing stream. The sky is heavy with the golden hue of late afternoon, promising a sunset so glorious it could make angels pause. Amid the chaos, an old man with a weathered face and trembling hands sits on a corner, his sign scrawled with desperate simplicity, "Hungry. Please help." Most passers-by don't even glance at him. To them, he is invisible, just another fixture of the urban tapestry. But then, a child, barely 8 years old, with wild curls and a smile that could outshine the sun, tugs at her mother's hand. "Mommy," he looks sad. "Can we give him something?" The mother hesitates, caught between the pressures of the day and the purity of her daughter's request. After a moment, she reaches into her purse and hands the child a crisp $5 bill. The girl beams as she skips over to the man, placing the money in his hand as though bestowing treasure upon a king. The old man's eyes glisten. He whispers a soft thank you, his voice cracking under the weight of his gratitude. Kindness, like a ripple in a still pond, spreads. That small act of compassion does not go unnoticed. Across the street, a man in a tailored suit, engrossed in his phone, pauses. He's late for a meeting, but something about the scene tugs at his conscience. With a sigh, he crosses the street and hands the old man a warm sandwich he'd bought for himself but suddenly doesn't need anymore. "Here you go, sir," he says, his voice gruff but sincere. And just like that, the city's rhythm shifts. A street performer stops strumming his guitar to fish some coins from his case. A teenager with earbuds in her ears pulls out a granola bar from her backpack. A bus driver waiting at a red light leans out of his window to hand over a bottle of water. It's as if humanity itself has remembered, if only for a moment, that we are all threads in the same fabric. The old man's corner transforms, not into a shrine or spectacle, but into a beacon of shared decency. Strangers exchange shy smiles, their defenses briefly lowered. But the true pinnacle comes later, long after the crowd disperses. The old man sits alone, his meager treasures now stowed in a tattered bag. Night has fallen, and the city's lights shimmer like stars brought down to earth. A soft voice interrupts his solitude. "Excuse me," says a woman with tired eyes and a grocery bag in hand. She looks nervous, as if debating her own courage. "I saw people helping you earlier, and I thought maybe I could, too." She places the bag beside him and starts to walk away, but he stops her with a question. "Why?" His voice is steady now, curious rather than desperate. The woman hesitates, then smiles faintly. "Because someone once helped me when I needed it most. And I promised myself I'd pass it on." For the first time in years, the old man's lips curve into a smile, small, tentative, but undeniably real. In that moment, he is not a beggar or a victim but simply a man who has been seen, truly seen, by another. The woman walks away, leaving the old man to his thoughts. But the story doesn't end there. That evening, as he unpacks the bag, he finds not just food but a handwritten note. It reads, "You matter. Don't let the world convince you otherwise." The words strike him like a thunderclap. He sits beneath the flickering glow of a street lamp, tears streaming down his face. They are not tears of sorrow but of release, of hope reignited in a heart long cold. Across the city, the chain reaction continues. The mother who gave her daughter $5 finds herself holding the door open for a stranger at the grocery store. The suited man who gave up his sandwich spends an extra hour mentoring a young colleague at work. The teenager with the granola bar calls her grandmother for the first time in months, just to say, "I love you." Kindness, generosity, respect, they are not grand gestures reserved for the heroic or the wealthy. They are the threads that weave our shared humanity, fragile but unbreakable when bound together. In a world that often feels cold and indifferent, these simple acts are the sparks that keep the fire alive. The old man, now warmed by a meal and a sense of belonging, leans back against the brick wall. He gazes at the night sky, where the stars seem to wink at him in silent approval. Tomorrow will bring its challenges, but for tonight, he feels a small but profound truth settle in his soul: we are never truly alone. Not when kindness exists. Not when generosity finds a way. not when respect reminds us of our shared worth. And somewhere, a child with wild curls sleeps soundly, her small act of love having ignited a city's forgotten heart. Thank you for helping us spread love.